we're going to be talking with Michael Smith, who is an anchor, commentator, and reporter for ESPN. He lives in Farmington, Connecticut with his wife and three children. Michael is a member of the 2017 class of Henry Crown Fellows with the Aspen Global Leadership Network at the Aspen Institute. And with him, we have Miss Sybrina Fulton. After the death of her beloved son, Trayvon Benjamin Martin, in February 2012, Miss Sybrina Fulton was charged with a new mission: a desire to transform family tragedy into social change, which allowed her to establish the Trayvon Martin Foundation in March of 2012. So now I want to turn it over to them too.
Okay, well, thank you, Malachi. I appreciate it. And just want to say thank you for the introduction. And it's my honor, my privilege to be joined by Ms. Sybrina Fulton, one of the mothers of the movement, whose courage and whose bravery in the face of tragedy and whose calling on her life is very much the catalyst for the My Brother's Keeper Alliance that we're all here to be a part of today. So thank you, Ms. Fulton, for being here. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. I know I speak on behalf of everybody in the network. Let me tell you, you haven't been around her. If you haven't had the privilege, the strength, the grace, the anointing, it just radiates off this woman. So get settled in for an amazing message from her. Let's start with the documentary, Rest in Power. Do we have a clip that we're going to play from that, a trailer?
I need to file a missing person report with my son.
Hey, what's his name?
Trayvon Martin.
Sanford Police Department.
Hey, there's a real suspicious guy. These always get away.
There's someone trying.
How many more kids will we wait for them to kill? My tears collecting like raindrops on a windowsill.
This kid was profiled, pursued, and shot in the heart.
George Zimmerman claimed self-defense,
standing his ground.
It just polarized the country.
We were overcome with fear and anger.
Trayvon became the face of our community. We had to go to war for him.
Rest in power. Rest in paradise. To all the babies too young to have had to pay the price.
You choose to grieve or to fight.
It took my son being shot down to make me stand up.
Rest in power. Rest in paradise. You have become a symbol in the spirit life.
Okay, so that was a trailer from the Paramount and BET documentary series, Rest in Power, the Trayvon Martin story. And it's, of course, based on the book, The Enduring Life of Trayvon Martin, Rest in Power by Sybrina Fulton and Tracy Martin, Trayvon's parents. Powerful documentary, as you might imagine, hard to watch, and certainly, for Ms. Fulton, hard to watch, but a necessary watch, and it's available on Paramount.com. All you gotta do is log in, sign up to check it out. So let's jump right into the documentary, Ms. Fulton. What did it mean to you and your family to be able to tell Trayvon's story in your own way?
It gave us the opportunity to express ourselves. Like, so many people were writing articles and books and different things about who Trayvon was and what they felt they knew Trayvon to be. And so we wanted to tell our point of view as parents. And so we talked about Trayvon being born. We talked about him growing up. We talked about him going to school. We talked about all of the things that happened before his death. We also, in the documentary and also the book, we talk about the trial that we went through and how unfair we felt sitting in the courtroom. We talked about the rallies and just everything that we went through on our journey, and we just wanted people to know how we felt and not have like third parties saying that they feel like this is how we felt. Yeah. We wanted to express ourselves and be able to communicate our feelings to people who wanted to know how we felt.
And what did you want people to take away from this story?
We want people to take away that that something good can come out of every storm. That's a big thing, and that it does not matter. I mean, the documentary and the book not only speaks to parents that have lost children through senseless gun violence, but it also speaks to parents who lost a child through a car accident, through an illness and different things. I mean, the loss in your heart never leaves. And so I can connect with somebody who has lost a child through an illness. I can connect with another mother that has lost a child through a car accident or some of the type of the loss is still there. And so we wanted to touch on that point. It's not just about a tragedy through senseless gun violence. It's about a loss. And so we wanted people to know that good can come from something that happened so terrible.
Right, and we're definitely going to get to the work you're doing with other mothers who've experienced that type of pain through the Trayvon Martin Foundation and the Circle of Mothers. But to your point, the unfortunate and tragic and premature end to Trayvon's life was the beginning of your journey. It's been 6 years now. Over these past 6 years, how have you grown and evolved as an activist and an advocate?
When this first happened, people don't know this, but I struggled with God because I felt that he picked the wrong person. He picked the wrong mom. He picked the wrong family. He picked the wrong teenager. And I just struggled with God. I didn't want to be a spokesperson. I didn't want to be a role model. I tell people all the time, I would not have signed up for this job, and I would not have. But the more that I told God this was the wrong person, the more he told me that just trust me, just trust me, just trust me. And Amen. I did, you know. And so once I started trusting God, it kind of let my guard down, and I was able to feel the strength that I have. It was able to feel that, you know, I could just be myself. I could just talk, and I could just tell you about my journey with my son, with America, with the peace walk, with the rallies and the supporters and everything that we've been through.
Yeah. How do you remain encouraged? It's easy and understandable. I know I experience it just about every day with where we are as a society and where we are with the movement, that it doesn't feel like any significant progress is being made toward change. That said, what are you seeing on the front lines, whether it's up close or from afar, that keeps you encouraged?
Well, I do see all the negativity that's in front of me. I see all the shootings and killings and bomb threats and all of those things. I see all of those things, but I also see past the storm. And so a lot of times people don't see past the storm. I can see that there will be a brighter day. I can see that we'll have a more positive attitude about the government, about the immigration, about education, about our young people. I truly believe that it's our young people that's going to change this whole world, that's going to make a difference because they're so resilient. They are fearless, and they're not going to give up. They have such energy, where people in my generation, they're kind of like doing things the same way, and we're receiving the same results. I believe our young people are going to get in there and they're going to make positive change. They're going to do things that we were not able to do. It's unfortunate that we have to turn this world over to them in the condition that it is in. And I apologize for that, you know, to our young people, that, you know, this world is screwed up. We're in a crisis, but I just believe it's our young people. And my hope comes from the young people. My hope comes from young people like my son, Javaris, who I believe is going to make a difference, and his generation is going to make a difference. I trust in God, but I also know that there's actions as well as just believing in God and saying a prayer and things like that. You have to have some type of action in place. And so I think it's important that we vote. I think it's important that we continue to motivate and encourage our young people so that they can make the change that we're looking for.
You're always in action. We've been talking off camera all day about the busy schedule that you keep. It's a miracle that we got you here to do this, because you're always on the go. The work never stops for you. Can you give people just a snapshot into the day-to-day for you as the face of the Trayvon Martin Foundation?
Well, I thank God that I do have good people. I have a good team. I have good people on staff. I have good people that have become Trayvon Martin Foundation ambassadors. I have a good team that I'm working with, and it allows me to travel. It allows me to work in different places of the country or even the United States. It allows me to do the things where I don't have to be in the office all the time. I have other people that's running it when I'm away. And so I do a great deal of traveling. I do, I'm on planes and off planes probably on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis. So when I do go home, I kind of relax. I let my hair down. You know, I just, you know, be around my family. You know, people just go nuts when I tell them that I drink wine. They like, oh my God, you know, but yes, I drink wine. You know, I like to go to a casino. I like to go to the beach. You know, I still do those things when I need to put back into Sybrina. Right. But a lot of times I'm doing other things. I'm trying to, you know, collaborate. I'm trying to build partnerships. I'm trying to change lives. I'm trying to change people's minds and to doing something positive. But I just know that it's so much negativity out there.
Yeah.
People don't see past that. They just see what's right in front of them. So I try to encourage people to see past what we're going through right now.
Yeah, just want to touch on that point about changing people's minds, because how do you balance the desire and the drive to do the work to not just bring awareness, activism, and advocacy, but also provide access? We'll certainly touch on a lot of different programs that the Trayvon Martin Foundation is doing to provide access to STEM education, college scholarships, back to school drives, so on and so forth. But balance that with the reality that we're fighting or trying to solve a problem we didn't create. You know, and you don't need me to tell you this, but obviously in your circumstances, Trayvon wasn't doing anything wrong other than just being Black. So how do you balance those two things with working, but also realizing that work is not necessarily the solution to a problem, again, that we didn't create, which is a problem of systemic oppression and racism?
I think that anything that we can do to chip away at the problem, we didn't get into this situation overnight, and we're not going to get out of this situation overnight. But I think everybody has to do their part, and that's part of the problem right there, that you have some people that's sitting back and they're allowing other people to do the work. We all need to do the work. We all need to be participants. We all need to get involved. And with everybody just doing a little bit of something, a little bit of something just to shape our young people, a little bit of something just to bring democracy back into the United States, a little bit of something just to bring that family life back together. I think we all can make a difference. It's not just a few people we should be looking for. And that's why I keep bringing up the young people, because I know sooner or later we have to turn that torch over to our young people. And so we have to prepare them, we have to shape them, we have to groom them so that we can prepare them for what they're going to take over. And so they're our next teachers and lawyers and doctors and
states attorneys,
and,
judges,
right, and congressmen and presidents, you know, it's them. And so we have to groom them now. So our youth is everything.
You sure you can't get on the ballot before November 6th?
No.
Right in, Sybrina Fulton, if you want. No, you got enough on your plate. Let's definitely talk about the work that the foundation is doing, a couple of initiatives that are near and dear to your heart. Let's start with the Peace Walk and the Peace Talk, which celebrates, as we talked about earlier, Trayvon's birth. You do it around his birthday. You don't necessarily recognize his passing, but celebrate his birthday. Okay,
so Trayvon's birthday is important to us and not necessarily the death. Of course, we get bombarded with calls during the anniversary when Trayvon died, but we celebrate his birthday. And so every year his birthday is February 5th, and every year we celebrate around that time. And so we do what we call as a peace walk in Miami. It's going to be February 9th, 2019. We're going to do a peace walk. That peace walk is to let our young people know, to let our elected officials know, to let just everybody know that you have a right to walk in peace without being followed, chased, pursued, profiled, or murdered. And at the end of the peace walk, we have what we call as a peace talk, where we have a conversation with the young people. And it's about, it's a program, but it's a program with a purpose. And one of the biggest things that we do is we have law enforcement out, because we want to bridge that gap between our young people and law enforcement officers. Not all of them are bad. We know that, but we have to keep saying that, because we don't want our young people to be afraid of the police. We want them to know that the police are out there to protect and serve, but there are some bad officers. And so we just want to bring awareness. We want to let our young people know that they're wonderfully made. We want to let them also know that they can take off a lot of things, but they can't take off the color of their skin. And we want them to embrace that and be inspired by who they are.
And one other initiative we want to highlight, the Circle of Mothers. What does that project in particular mean to you, and how has it helped you in your healing process, your grieving process, to pour into other mothers who've unfortunately experienced this type of tragedy?
I think with With the Circle of Mothers, it came to me as a dream. It was a dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I started writing, and that's how I started the Circle of Mothers. It came from a dream that I had, and everything was purple, and that's what I do now with the Circle of Mothers. But I bring in mothers from all over the United States, and it's about healing, it's about bonding, it's about empowering, it's about educating. That's their time where they can relax and really heal, where they don't have to worry about a camera, they don't have to worry about if people are watching them. They can really just let their hair down and be able to express themselves and be able to, heal in some type of manner. Everybody heals differently.
Yeah.
I didn't have that when I was going through the tragedy with my son, but I want to make sure I provide that space for other mothers. And so that's why it's so important. The only thing I ask them to do is to go back in their communities and help other mothers.
Yeah.
So I'm very proud of the Circle of Mothers.
Yeah, and if you want more information about the amazing work that the Trayvon Martin Foundation is doing, check out www.trayvonmartinfoundation.org. Lastly, before we take some questions from our audience for you, Ms. Fulton, what kind of encouragement or instructions or even a charge would you have for the My Brother's Keeper Alliance Network at large? How can we further support, complement, and uplift the work you're doing?
I just want the My Brother's Keeper program to make sure that they're reaching out, and diversity matters. Of course, you know that it's important that it's diverse, but it's important that you put substance back in these young men where they are broke down. Sometimes their self-esteem is lost. Sometimes they just need to hear a word from another young man that's doing something positive, just to let them know that they can do it. And so I want them to continue to be in the communities and continue to do these type of town hall meetings and continue to just be visible, so people will know that the Obama Foundation cares, My Brother's Keepers cares, and that other young men care about them. And so I think with that being said, that it will definitely make a difference in their life.
All right, well, thank you for all the work you're doing. That's it for me. The other Michael Smith, as I'm known around these circles from My Brother's Keeper, I'm going to turn it back over to Malachi, who's got some questions from our town hall audience.